A poll commissioned by the Murdoch Times of Tory voters, conducted by YouGov, has found that 47% of them now want energy nationalised. No longer can such a move be looked at as a purely socialist measure and ideological lefty pursuit. It's now the common sense position to take, it would seem. Of course, the Tory Party itself will never do that. It is too wedded to Thatcherism, too dedicated to that ideology. Frankly, they'd have no idea what they'd do instead. But you look at Starmer's Labour and you see a party with the same problem. Despite public opinion on energy having moved to the left, Starmer has dragged Labour kicking and screaming ever more to the right, towards ever more similar positions as the Tories. And their answer right now is to give the energy suppliers a £30 billion windfall to just hold bills where they are for 6 months, despite them already being unaffordable for too many. Now, sure, in the short term, this is fine, but what happens when bills go up again in January? Another bung to the energy companies? How much longer will that go on? What incentive would there be for these prices to ever come down, in which case? All Labour has to do to really capitalise on this, chasing Tory votes as Starmer's been desperate to do, is to U-turn and renew his commitment to public ownership. Of course, that would require him to admit he lied about it to start with, would have to admit he was wrong, would necessitate him kissing goodbye to those energy-linked donations he might be hoping for to replace all that lost membership and affiliation money. But isn't it bitterly ironic that if he'd ever had a spine, had ever meant a word he said when he became Labour leader, wasn't so arrogantly obsessed with avoiding any course of action Jeremy Corbyn had proposed, he'd be sitting pretty right now and we'd all be saying how right he was. Instead, here we are looking at the brill-creamed bell end and remarking on how yet again he's snatching defeat from the jaws of victory through his own dishonesty and lack of integrity. He might be leading several polls right now, decent leads in some cases, but there's no denying that that's against a zombie government without a leader in the middle of a cost of living crisis, paralysed by inaction. There's solid ground for such poll leads for the taking right now, with both voters on the left and the right, both in favour of renationalisation of energy, and yet Starmer would rather sink in quicksand instead.